Hey everybody, my name is John. Here at Guitar Teacher's Guide. Um, I really wanted to make this channel to help support new guitar teachers or teachers who kind of feel like they're just not sure what to do anymore. I want to give them advice, tips, tricks, resources, um, and help kind of make sure that they know that they can do it. I know when I started out, it was a really scary thing, and I didn't think I could do it, even though I had all the knowledge. So I really want to help other people realize that they too can do it, because I have. So a few things that I wanted to go over in this video. This is my first video, so I just wanted to go over a few things. First thing, I wanted to tell you a little bit about me, because I think it's important for you to understand who I am or what I've done in order to know whether you care to listen to me or not. I also want to give you a little bit about what the channel is about, so that you know what I plan on doing with this, whether you want to follow along, subscribe, whatever it is, if you want to just check it out every now and then, that type of thing. And the third thing I want to tell you is why it's important to me, because it is a personal thing and I really want you to know that. So, a little bit about me. I went to start my musical journey when I was 12 years old. My oldest brother plays every brass instrument known to man. My older brother plays guitar and drums and he sings. My older sister sang a lot, and my mom always had music playing for all of us. She always had different styles of music and everything. So music was kind of involved in our lives, whether we wanted to be a part of it or not, which we all did. So 12 years old, I decided that I wanted to play piano because my sister had just gotten engaged, and I wanted to learn how to play the piano so I could play the wedding march for her. Because I was a broke 12-year-old and didn't have money for a present. So my mom started me up in lessons with my music pastor at the time at my church, and he taught me how to play piano. He started me from the basics, taught me a little bit about reading music and theory, showed me how to play things, and I eventually did play the wedding march for her wedding a year after that. It was a super important, meaningful thing for me, because I spent so much time and dedication learning how to do it. I also actually played it really well for my age and everything, and so I found that it was probably one of my favorite performances I've ever given. After that, I wanted to play more music, but I didn't want to play piano because piano wasn't the cool thing in my youth group. Because at church we had a youth group band. My brother played guitar for it, and I wanted to play in it, but they didn't have piano, and I didn't really know any of the other instruments. So I wanted to learn bass because bass to me sounded like it was an easier version of guitar. Less strings, less notes. So I was like, that sounds good to me. I clearly did not know bass, but I did learn how to play some simple stuff on bass. I was given a bass for my 14th birthday, and I learned how to play that, as well as any 14-year-old can that doesn't have a teacher. I ended up learning how to play off of chord charts, and that was what most of my church music stuff was chord charts. I ended up learning how to listen to music and play along with it. I actually played some of the bass from Sweet Child of Mine, which is one of the coolest bass lines I've ever heard. And I learned that because I played Guitar Hero a ton as a kid. So I played Guitar Hero and I would put it into practice mode and I'd play the song and not let the guitar play, because then it was basically just a backing track for bass guitar and drums, so I could hear the bass really well and I'd play along with it. And once I kind of got to the part where I knew enough, I'd stop and then restart it and play along with it and get a little further and a little further. So that's how I played bass. I eventually was like, I really want to play electric guitar because it's so cool, and my brother plays it, and I played on his broken guitar that was in our garage. I don't know if he knows about that, but I played it. It only had one string. Actually, it had two strings, but one of the strings was unwound entirely, so it was just one thin piece of metal. Kind of hurt your fingers, but I learned how to play some easy stuff. I'm Iron Man. I learned Smoke on the Water, Seven Nation Army, some very simple stuff, but I learned that all on one string on that guitar. It was really fun, but I wanted my own, so I was actually given an electric guitar when I was 16. I took that and I learned as much as I could without an actual teacher. My older brother played guitar, so he ended up teaching me how to play some basic chords for church so that I could play at my church. And I ended up learning some from my the music teacher, not music teacher, but the music worship leader in our youth group. He was from a college and he was going for music, and he taught me quite a bit on a little bit more of like a lead guitar player perspective, and a little bit better about how to utilize power chords for most of the music we were playing. So it was kind of like a simple upward step from playing the bass guitar with what I was doing on it. I ended up playing that a lot, trying to learn everything that I could by ear. I would listen to music on the radio and just try to play along to it, try to figure out what it was doing. I ended up gaining a very, very pretty good ear to be able to hash things out quickly so that I could play songs while they were still playing. And I think that that's a normal thing for most guitarists, but my wife freaks out about it, and she is a vocalist, so I don't know. But it was a skill that I definitely developed there. When I turned 18, I ended up I got an acoustic guitar, which I was playing a lot more softer stuff, so it made a lot more sense for me to play an acoustic guitar rather than
Alright. That is what happens when you have cats. Sorry about that. Anyways, I ended up getting an acoustic guitar. I took the knowledge that I had from electric. I learned some finger tapping stuff. My brother was super into Annie McKee and stuff, so I learned a little bit of finger picking, but not a lot. But I was super into artists like Lifehouse, City and Color, really chill but really beautiful sounding, softer music. So I learned a bunch of that I could. I ended up graduating high school, I was homeschooled, so graduation wasn't big thing really, but it was a milestone because I ended up deciding to go to college for music and photography. I ended up going and joining as much musical things as I could. I was forced to join choir, which at the time I did not want to do because I thought it would be lame. I thought it'd be too classical, and I was like, I don't know about that. So I ended up loving it and becoming a lot more musically knowledgeable because of it. It taught me how voices work. It taught me how voice leading worked. It helped me learn a lot of things that I never would have known without it. I also had one of the coolest instructors, choir directors that I've ever known. But anyways, so I ended up deciding to go to college, and I really wanted to learn more guitar, but I decided to go in for classical guitar because classical guitar I thought would give me more foundational skills. I would learn a lot more about like how to read the music, because I knew how to read sheet music from when I was a kid playing piano, but I didn't understand it to guitar. It was kind of diverted. I understood tab, I understood chord charts, but I didn't understand sheet music. For me, that was my piano playing, that wasn't guitar playing. So I was like, I really want to know more about it and figure it out. So I ended up going into classical guitar, and I play classical to this day, and I love it. But I ended up doing that. I played all sorts of instruments when I was about 18 or 19. A lot of things happened with my church youth group, and we didn't have a drummer, so they asked if I could play, and I told them I could keep a beat. I could keep a simple do-do-ka type of beat, and they said that's all you need to do. That's all we need. We just need someone who can keep time and help us out with that. And I said, all right, I guess I could do that. So I switched over to the drums, and while I was doing that, I ended up joining a local band from where I'm at. That was a post-hardcore band, and I ended up as the drummer for that band. Super fun, best dudes in the world. It was a lot of fun. It stayed local for me, but those guys are killer and doing all sorts of things with their families and lives now. After that, I went through college. I ended up joining more choirs. I was in a guitar ensemble. I was playing solo guitar. I was playing solo piano. I was singing solos. I was in 3 choirs, I believe. I played drums for the jazz band. I played drums for the blues band. I did everything that I could musically that I knew of at the time. I really wanted to just dig in and get as much knowledge as I could, get as much experience as I could, because I didn't know what I needed to know. So after I graduated there, my wife had graduated the year before, and she was my fiance at the time. And she decided to go to university for music education. I was at a junior college, so once I graduated, it was a 2-year degree. So I had to figure out, what do I want to do after this? Do I want to continue my education? Do I want to try going into the workforce? What do I want with my life? And I personally decided to go for music education as well, more on the side of learning and teaching guitar and instruments, because that's what I did and that's what I loved. So I ended up going there. I ended up going to the same school as her, which was a wild ride. And I found out how small of a fish I was in a very, very big pond. And by pond, I mean the ocean. Like, I went from feeling like I was the big man on campus at the junior college because I was doing all the things. I felt like I knew all the things. I was involved in everything I could be. And I felt like I was top tier there, if that makes sense. I probably wasn't, but I felt like I was. And once I got to the university level, I was a very, very small fish in the ocean. I found out that where I'm at, the college I was going to is not the world, and most people are better than me. So I was very rudely awakened to that knowledge. I really was frustrated, but excited because I knew I could get better, and I ended up having to relearn how to play the guitar, kind of, because I wasn't playing it very well. Not to say that my teacher at the junior college level didn't do an amazing job with me. He taught me a ton, but I was not the best of students. I didn't care a lot. I felt like what I was doing was good enough. And so when I got to a higher level, it scared me. I realized that I needed to take more time, put more effort into what I was doing, actually put focused effort into what I was doing. And I had a hard time with it. I ended up graduating there back in 2019 with my degree, and I have taught musical instruments for the past 15 years in different aspects. I've taught bass, I've taught piano, I've taught guitar, I've taught drums, and in college you learn how to teach basically every instrument. So since then I've helped flautists, I suppose. I think they just call themselves flutists, honestly. I've helped flute players, I've helped sax players, I've helped percussionists, I've helped string players, I have helped basically the broad spectrum of teaching, but guitar is definitely where my heart lies. And that's what I want to help with, is new people learning guitar. Not new people learning guitar, but new people teaching the guitar. And I want to, that's kind of what my second thing in this video is I want to talk about what this channel is about. This channel is specifically about helping guitar teachers. I want to give you resources, I want to give you tips, I want to give you instructions, I want to give you helpful advice, I want to take your questions and be able to answer them as best as I can, as often as I possibly can. And I really want to make it accessible for people, because before I became a teacher, I was terrified. I didn't think I could do it. I thought I needed to know more. I thought that people wouldn't like me. I thought that I would be too scared and freeze up, and then people would not want to do it, or people wouldn't want to pay me, or whatever, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of people are. And I feel like a lot of people, and I know this because I have taught those kids. I've taught the students who don't want to do this, who know a ton, and they could very easily teach at least lessons on the side or something like that for some extra cash, and they felt like they couldn't do it. And I was like, guys, you know how to read music, you know how to read tab, you played in ensembles for years, I know that you can do this. And they were still worried about it. So I want to make this a channel where it can take those nerves out. I want to make this a channel because, well, I want to make this channel specifically because I feel like there's a hole. There's a lot of people teaching amazing ways on how to become a better musician, how to become a better guitar player, how to become the best of the best. But I don't see a lot of people talking about, okay, now how do you teach that to someone? They teach it, yes, but they don't go through what do you teach someone who's sitting right across from you and they're struggling with their finger going to the right place. I want to teach that. I want to show you, hey, this is what you can do. These are different ways of doing this. Hey, you might try these songs for your beginners. I want to help you guys with that specifically, okay? Even if you have been a guitar teacher for a decade, you'll probably find some new information here. I source everywhere. I have had amazing instructors. I have had amazing co-workers and colleagues that I have tried to soak up a bunch of knowledge from, and I hope that I can give some of that back to the community. The last thing I want to talk about is why this is important to me. It's super important to me, partially because I feel like there's a big hole in it and not a lot of people talk about this. This is something that I feel that we as a guitar community really harp on. Let's get better at guitar. Let's spend either the most time or the least amount of time becoming the best player. Here's the best 15 minutes to learn sweep picking or something like that. And I feel like a lot of the authenticity has lost its place in this community. There's still a lot of great YouTubers out there. There's still a lot of great teachers out there. And I want to be able to help more of those people. I want to give people a place where they feel like they can learn something that they can use elsewhere rather than just for themselves. Because it's very important to me. When I was younger, a mentor of mine had told me that there were 3 people that always needed to be with you in life. You needed someone who was walking in front of you on the path that you're on, so a mentor, a teacher, a professor, an instructor, an older student, someone who is further than you and who can help guide you. Then you need someone walking with you. You need someone walking the same path or a similar path so that you guys can feed off of each other. You can help each other out in the same place. The third thing is someone to teach, someone further back on the path than you, someone who's just starting maybe someone who's just a little behind. And I think it's very important to be able to teach those people. It's very important to be able to help those people progress so that they know exactly what they're supposed to do. It could be any aspect in life that this talks about, but guitar is kind of what I love, so that is what I want to focus this channel on. I just really wanted to introduce myself, make this first video so that I'd actually do this. I plan on making videos much more regularly. I tried to do another channel, and that one just kind of became my fun little thing where I could throw a couple guitar things up on, but nothing really solid. I really hope that if you feel like this might be a community or something that you want to be a part of, that you comment, subscribe, like, do whatever feels best for you. But please think about it and join us. Thanks. See you next time.